Spartan Collection fans, we are back. We took a small hiatus, but today we have Arbiter Thel Vadam, the Deluxe Edition from Jazzwares. So this is a part of Series 5. It's considered their Deluxe Edition. They also have one with Chief. He's able to hold weapon, and then she also comes on like a pedestal and a stand, and then he also has some extra hands and things like that. So originally, I had this pre-ordered at GameStop. It was $39.99. Then Target had it on their app, which never went live, at least not yet, for $34.99. And then people started finding it in store during their toy reset. And then I actually ended up getting this from Amazon. It was $34.99. They had it add to cart, buy now, so I did that. Came 2 days later, and here we are. Taking another look at the back of the packaging, these are the rest of the figures released in Series 5. Truth be told, I haven't seen any of these figures in store in person at all. Everybody just kind of keeps beating me to it. To be honest, I would actually really like to have Spartan Rogue. I do like Halo 3 a lot, so if I do see that, I'll definitely be picking it up. And then right here is the description of Master Chief holding the weapon. So this is the deluxe version. Those of you that are going to be hunting in store, here is the barcode and DPCI. Use this at your local Target to help you track this down. So far, this has not been found at Walmart, but Walmart is Walmart, so it is what it is. So one more thing to note before we unbox this. I know GameStop does price match, so if you happen to find this in store, I would show them the Target app, and they should be able to price match. I've done it before with Red Dead Redemption 2 and then Resident Evil 2 video games, so I don't see why they wouldn't do it with their toys, but if you do happen to see it in store, I would definitely give it a shot. Okay, here is Arbiter out of the packaging. I gotta say, I am impressed. This is one hefty, bulky figure. I mean, he looked big in the packaging, but I mean, shoot, he's just, there's just the size of my hand. We'll do some measurements and things like that, but he is crazy articulated and crazy detailed. It's been a while since I've actually touched some Spartan Collection figures, so from what I can tell already, it does seem like they have improved on the quality as far as like their plastic feels really good. It doesn't feel like cheap or anything like that. The articulation seems great, and the joints seem stiff so far. I'm just really impressed by what I see. The armor coloring and coating, the paint applications look really good. I'm looking at my Mattel one that's way up there, and it's just vast differences between the two. So let's get this going. So let's take some close-ups of Arbiter. I mean, he looks just fantastic. I want you to be able to see just how much detail there is in this figure. Again, I mean, it's been some time since I've played with a Spartan Collection. I've been really invested in World of Halo, and just the quality has, I think, really improved on this, and he looks fantastic. You can see all the sculpting throughout, just the spikes coming on the back. I mean, very intimidating armor pieces. This style of armor can be seen within Halo 5 and then also that fighting game Killer Instincts. So if you've played any of that, then you've seen and played with Arbiter there. We're going to make our way on down, but before we do that, I want you to get a good look at the headpiece, how sculpted and heavily detailed that is. Moving down to the mouth, you can see that the inner part right here, you can see his bottom part of his jaw is in there. And then to the chest, we have more of that bronze distressed metal. Moving on down, and then towards the thighs, he has like those leather straps that are connecting the top of his thigh armor. Great to see, little details on that. The leather straps, more of that distressed weathering, and then all the way down to the big toes, which are actually articulated as well. Something to note, these armor pieces do not come off like we've seen with our previous Mattel Arbiter, which is fine. I don't really need another Arbiter that can remove its armor pieces. I mean, it's a cool idea, but I feel like, when you start adding a lot of little things like that to a figure, it's more susceptible to failure, or, just pieces just become loose and not as functional. As we make our way to the back, you can see there's a gold Under Armour plating right there. The spikes are nice and aggressive. There's like blast marks, scuffs and scrapes on that. Looks really good. Moving on down to the back, there's like this inlay, and you can see the connection pieces from the back of the armor to the front. Awesome sculpting right there. I like that detail. And then moving on down to the legs, you can see there's leather straps that wrap around the hamstring to the top of the quad with that armor. We have our backwards knees armor plating, our calf armor, and then moving all the way down to the feet. Before we jump into articulation, I want to show you the sculpting they did for his face. You can see that they have it like textured on the sides of his cheek, that kind of like leather look that Arbiter has. And then we have his little jaw pieces, his mouth, and you can see some of the little teeth on the inside right there. Since we're here at the head, we'll start with that articulation. It is on a ball joint with a hinge, so we should be able to spin this all the way around. The headpiece or armor is a softer type of plastic, so you can help maneuver that around by just pulling it. And then so there's no hyperextension coming backwards just because of the nature of the neck armor, but we can flex the head forward and down, and about that far down. Both shoulder pieces are on a pin with a hinge joint, so we'll start with the left side since that doesn't have any armor on it, so you can see the joint right there and how high we can get Arbiter's arm. So looks like we can get Arbiter's shoulder about this. Ooh, okay, about that high or so. And then bringing this on down. Nice stiff joints right there. And then we should be able to spin this shoulder. Yep, all the way around. And then there is also a swivel at the top of the bicep, so you can take this and turn that. And then there are double breaks here at the elbows. So we'll start with that first one over here. So it looks like that's about as far as the first joint will go. And then the second joint will flex about that far or so. Let's get this hand out of the way. Wow, that's crazy flexion. Okay, great. So this joint looks really good. So we'll just extend that back out, and then moving down to the wrist, the joint is right here at the anterior portion, so we should be able to flex forward. That's great. And then hyperextension backwards. Awesome. And then these are also on a pin system, so there is 5 interchangeable hands, so we can swap each of these out and get the same type of flexion. So we'll do the same thing on the right hand side since there is the more prominent shoulder armor piece. So I have this left arm extended up as high as I can by the shoulder joint just so we can compare the two. So if we take this shoulder, let's see how high we can get that. It's definitely not going to be as high because of the armor. Yeah, that's about as high as that shoulder is going to go with these 2 armor pieces here, but it does look like there's still a swivel joint here, so we should be able to still rotate this top of the bicep around. Yeah, so we can still get some good movement out of that, and then it does also still have the double joints here. And then we got the wrist guards, and then we can interchange this hand as well. At the torso, it is on a ball joint as well. I don't think we can spin Arbiter all the way around just because of the nature of his bulky armor pieces. And then we do have some flexion. We have him leaning forward, and then not a whole lot going backwards just because of the nature of the armor. Both legs are on a ball joint, so we should be able to get some good flexion. So I think we could spin this leg all the way around. Yep, that looks really good. And get this all the way in so we can have Arbiter doing like some internal and then external rotation here. So pretty much everything that we've seen so far with the World of Halo style Arbiter is in our Spartan collection figure. And then from there at the first knee, it's on a hinge, moving forwards and backwards, and we should be able to spin this around, so it is on a swivel as well. And then the second knee, most of that flexion is going to be coming forward, but before the shin armor piece gets in the way, and we can flex that back just a little bit as well. So that's pretty cool. Lots of good movement there. Again, what we've seen with our World of Halo, and then what the World of Halo does not have is going to be a toe joint. So, oh, and they're individual ones too, right? Yeah, cool. So individual toe joints, that's pretty cool. Awesome. I didn't expect that. And then we can flex that backwards. Yeah, so that's great. And these are nice and stiff too. Arbiter does come with 2 weapons. We have the Storm Rifle. I like that blue. We have like a teal turquoise looking area for like the cylinder, and as well as another one for like the sights. So the sculpting on this is really good. It's not a hard plastic. It is like a softer type of plastic, kind of what we've already seen with this line. He also comes with the Prophet's Bane energy sword. Looks really good. I like that textured grip right there. They did a good job on that, like the pitting on that. And then this is like a softer plastic, translucent. You can see right through it. And Arbiter does come with 5 additional hands. So this is going to be the sword holding hand. And you can see this is designated for the right hand side. I went ahead and put the sword inside of the hand. You can see the space in between the 2 fingers, and the handle kind of grooves in a little bit. It actually fits really nice and snug. Next is a Storm Rifle hand. So this is where he grips the inside of the trigger guard. So I went ahead and did the same thing here. You can see the fingers sticking through the trigger guard. The thumb rests on top of the grip, and it fits nice and snug. You know, I don't see this shaking loose or anything like that, so bravo. He does come with 2 fists, a right and a left. I definitely would not want to be punched in the face by Arbiter. The last one is like an open palm support type of hand, or maybe like, you know, thumbs up type of hand. So that's pretty cool. So again, the hands are interchangeable by pulling out this pin. Here I thought I'd do like a cool dynamic pose with Arbiter holding the energy sword. And of course, here is a pose of Arbiter with the Storm Rifle. He can hold it no problem. Here's Arbiter with the Fists of Fury. I would not want to be stepping in the ring with him. And here is the open palm one with a kind of a hi, how are ya type of pose. So I'm sure you're as curious as I am to see how tall Arbiter is. He is a freaking beast. So it looks like he is standing at 8.5 inches tall. So let's do some comparisons. We have our Mattel 6-inch Arbiter standing next to our Spartan Collection Deluxe. I recently acquired this one due to a Halo fan. He reached out, was kind enough to let this go to me, so thank you again, Greg, for that. So there are vast differences between the two. Right off the bat, you can see that there's the height differences. So Spartan Collection Jazzwares has really stuck to the 1/12 scale 6-inch line, keeping these characters true to what they are in scale. And then obviously the realness. I mean, the paint applications on this Arbiter. I mean, I used to think that this was, man, like this was like the figure. And don't get me wrong, it is a great figure, but I mean, comparing the two together, I mean, just this Arbiter looks so much more realistic and true to what, you know, we've seen in Halo 5 Guardians. I mean, it just looks legit. And then here's just a comparison of their backs, just for the sake of being able to show both sides of the figure. One of the things I would have liked to have had with our Deluxe Arbiter is going to be the orange eyes. Instead, they painted them white. And then the sculpting for the teeth, I would have liked to have had, like, you know, the paint applications for the teeth. I mean, it's not a deal breaker, but, you know, it would have been nice. Now let's put in some other Spartan Collection figures. We'll put in Palmer, and then let's put in my favorite chief out of the Spartan Collection Series 1/2. And you can see definite big height differences between the two. They kept the scale. Looks great. Since we don't have Spartan Collection Halo 5 Chief, here's Arbiter holding our World of Halo Chief. I guess the only thing left to do is put in our Arbiter from the Halo 3 Warthog pack and a random Black Series Clone Trooper. My final thoughts on Arby. It is a $34.99 figure. That's probably my cap of what I would want to spend on something like this. It's considered a deluxe edition, so it still does come with the 5 additional hands and the 2 weapons. It is crazy lifelike, the amount of detail that they've put into that figure. It's big, it's hefty, you're getting a whole lot of plastic. In my opinion, it's one of the best, if not the best, Arbiter that I have ever touched. I don't have a Joyride one, and I don't have the McFarlane Arbiters, but from my experience of handling those figures, this is one of the best, if not the best. With that being said, there are some small things I would have liked to have seen. The orange eyes and maybe some paint applications in the teeth. My joints on this figure are great. They're stiff. They're nice. I am worried about the future maybe. It is a heavy constructed figure. There's a lot going on. A lot of plastic, which is good. But I could possibly see some potential for the torso ball and socket joint becoming loose. We won't know this until, you know, time has passed. That's my only really concern for the figure, but if that does happen, we can always spray like some clear coat on it to strengthen up that ball and socket once more. Alright everyone, that wraps up this review and unboxing. I really hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. My name is Nostalgic Adam, all one word, where I do toy photography, toy videos, toy hunts, and all things toy related. Link in the description below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow. It is free, and I will see y'all in the next video.